All right, welcome to our Thursday night series in the iNRS Racing Series. We have got a super speedway for you. Welcome to the IWM broadcast of the Yellawood 250 here in the iNRS Racing Series. Round of 8, just a handful of races left before we head to Phoenix. Just fingerful of races before we head to Phoenix. I'm Rick Souza here in the booth with my co-broadcaster, Sal Nicosia. And Sal, what do you think tonight?
I mean, this is one of the best races of the year for us up here in the booth. Talladega is one of these tracks where it's just a bundle of joy. It is a barrel of monkeys for us to call. So I'm excited. There's a lot of playoff implications here tonight. Some drivers have locked themselves in, and some are still looking to do that. And at Talladega, it's anybody's guess. There can be any set of situations that set up new winners, and I don't know. I think we're in for a show tonight.
Absolutely. We've got over 20 drivers tonight here with, again, just two races left before we hit the final race at Phoenix just tonight and Martinsville for these drivers here. This is this is that sandwich race. We talked about this. This is that meet in between. You had Vegas last week. You got Martinsville. This is anybody's opportunity. So if you're a playoff driver, let's bring those up real quick and look at the standings here. John DeRudris, he's already punched his ticket, but any one of these drivers, if they win tonight, they're in.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a really competitive group here. Austin Wheeler, Jordan Wenzel, Corey Ennis, I mean, all above the cut. Corey Ennis, though, 1 point to the good. Tyler Lem, 1 point below the line, as well as Jacob Musow there, 1 point below the line. So those are the three drivers to watch for me tonight here in the playoffs. Obviously, Garrett Walden and Ty Bostic going to be fighting. It's going to be, making up 10 or 20 points here isn't impossible, but it's definitely going to be a situation where you'll want to be in victory lane here.
Yeah, Ty Bostic has always said over the years, I've known Ty as a driver for many years. He will always tell you he is not a fan of the super speedways, but he does very well on them. So watch out for the 22. Garrett Walden, always a formidable force. He could be up there. The same with Musow, Lem, Corey Ennis, Wenzel, Wheeler, all these guys have had a phenomenal season. They would not be where they're at today without having a fabulous season to get them here. So this is anybody's race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's there's one more hungry than the rest. I think that Garrett Walden is somebody who, runner up last week, trying to get that win to lock himself in. John D gets the win. So I think you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled on that Garrett Walden tonight here at Talladega. If he can set himself a good qualifier, it's going to be beneficial for him, not just for the playoff chase, but I'm sure he's feeling a little extra special about trying to get himself a win.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about just what's going on tonight. Oh, I think I've missed. All right, let's talk about what tonight is. It's a 94 laps, stage break at 31, no quick repairs, 55 miles per hour on pit road. They got plenty of tires, but it's Talladega. Do you need plenty of tires? Don't think so.
Not really. Not really. It's gonna come down to a few keys to the race here tonight, but tires won't be one of them.
Temperature is beautiful here in Alabama. It's 81 degrees at the track, so pretty cool. Let's go ahead and bring up take 1 second here, take a look. I want to see what the current weather is and time track-wise. So looks a little overcast.
Just a Scrooge. Yeah, that's gonna lower some track temps maybe here, at least during the qualifying session. Could change as they get into the race portion of tonight, as we know the heat of the tires and the heat of the track definitely play a factor, slipping and sliding through some of these turns if you let it go on a long run, if things stay green.
Well, I hear you. So that's the end of qualifying. So with this league here on our Thursday night series, there's a 5-minute driver meeting that shows us that warm up. So we got 5 minutes to kind of talk about just any other things. So let's talk about the keys to tonight's race.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So key number one, and I think number one in order of importance here is survival. Talladega, these super speedways, these drafting tracks, this is the number one rule. Making sure you get through the big one, putting yourself in a position to just finish a race. The second one is aerodynamics, making sure that you're keeping the front end cool and making sure you're getting everything done right with your drafting partners and making sure you're drafting responsibly.
And we do know that there was an update that was put out today for iRacing, and we don't know exactly if that has changed anything. The last update that came out really impacted the push, the arrow around these cars, and the ability to really affect the car you're drafting with, and you're drafting behind and drafting side drafting. All of that was dramatically changed in the previous update. So there was an update this past today. So we'll see if that has any effect on today's race at all. But certainly, aero is a huge important factor.
Always is at these super speedways, so we'll see how it plays in. And I think the conversation about aero and not knowing what the update may have done is going to be make this third key just as much important as it is any other time. But being patient and making sure you're feeling your car out, feeling the competitors out around you, and understanding there's a right place and a right time to make the right move to get the right result. So we'll see how long it lasts, see how much patience these guys have, and see what kind of race we get here tonight.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got a couple minutes left here, just shy of 3 to let these drivers finish their meeting. Now, again, we'll go back to where we are from a schedule perspective. We're in the round of 8 here, so we've got those 8 drivers who have qualified to get to this point in the season. We've got the Yellawood 250 tonight here in Talladega. And next week we go to Martinsville. Now, Martinsville is, they call it the paperclip. It's a very flat, really tiny oval that it's a challenge to drive, especially with this car.
Yeah, it's one where contact is inevitable, and making sure that you're hitting your marks is absolutely crucial. A lot of Martinsville races end in carnage, but if you can keep it green and keep everybody pointed the right direction, these races can be you have to be a real specialist to get around. So they can be really entertaining for a number of reasons, but hopefully for all the right ones as they head to Martinsville next weekend.
So we're there at Martinsville, and then at that point, that leaves us with our finalists, the 4 that head over to Phoenix for the championship. That will be the day before Thanksgiving here at the end of October. So season's winding down, just 3 races left tonight, next week, and on our final. So, man, Sal, this year has gone by so fast.
Yeah, I checked the schedule today. I couldn't believe this was the last one. This is one of the last ones for me, and it's just incredible that we started all that time ago, and I can't believe this is it already. But it's been a very compelling season all year long. These drivers have done such a wonderful job putting on such a great competitive product, on the track for one another, but in the booth and out there for everybody who watches each and every week here. So it's been a real testament to them and to everyone who runs the league here, and it's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to. So tonight's going to be very interesting. We've got some great competitors out there who have lots of speedway experience. They've been here before. They know what it's like here. If you go back and look, last year this was won by Jordan Booth, who popped in this year for a few races. He's off to college, but came back, and since he won last season, he came back for a number of races after his semester got out, and then part of the summer he really showed what a champion he was, and a formidable driver. But he won last year, so it's time for someone else to write the their name on the trophy for 2025.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who punches their ticket and puts their place on that trophy at the end of this year. There's some great competitors here in the playoff, and I think there's some new drivers, some returning drivers, and everybody wants to take home the chip. So it's just going to be a matter of, like we said, the keys to tonight's race aren't so different from the keys to the whole season. Survive, maybe not aerodynamics, but patience. Survival and patience are two really important pieces throughout the entirety of the season in this league.
And
so it'll be good to see.
Just interrupt. I just happened to well, that Jordan Booth is running tonight in tonight's event. And hey, guess what? The grid is up, and you're going to be surprised who's on the pole, or you won't.
There he is. Right up there in that pink and purple 4140 XLI machine. That's Jordan Booth, ready to rock and roll here tonight.
All right, so our grid for tonight, Jordan Booth is on the pole in that 41 XLI machine. To the outside, Austin Wheeler in the 48, Ron Fitting in row 2 with Ty Bostic. Row 3 has got Jordan Wenzel and John Ledger. Row 4, Tyler Lem and Jacob Musau. Tony Japs and Richard Mills are in row 5.
Yeah, row number 6, that's Matt Parasini and Garrett Wilson lining up side by side. That's for 11th and 12th. 13th, it's Christopher Cash. 14th, Jacob Musau. Vince Burns and Scott Thomas are in 15th and 16th. John DeRugis and Alson Walton in 17th and 18th. Corey Ennis and Shane Trotter and Jeff Ramsdell round out the field.
All right, that's our grid for tonight's Yellawood 250. As this field gets underway, looks like that cloud cover has broken.
Nice sunny day. Looks good. That track will be heating up. Looks going to be fun.
Beautiful weather here in Alabama.
Sweet home.
That's right. All right, 21 cars starting tonight here with just a handful of races to go to wrap up this season. Let's see who is able to notch their name again. Jordan Booth could do it again, or someone else. We'll see how it all plays out. But you never know here at these super speedways, especially here at Talladega. Yeah. Folks watching on YouTube, we appreciate the comments. Yes, there are two Jordans, Jordan Booth, Jordan Wenzel. We're watching both.
Couple of Jordans, couple of Jacobs, couple of Josephs. We've got them all.
We do.
They're all here, ready to run here tonight. I don't know if I'm excited or anxious or a little nervous or all three.
Well, we're about to find out. The back is now in turn 3, about to enter turn 4 as we work our way towards the start-finish line. This is Talladega, so the start-finish line is a little bit farther down the track, so it's not where you would think it would be.
Yeah, kind of toward the tail end of the tri-oval. So definitely get that little extra bit that you need as you're coming through to finish this race. But the pace car's off.
41 is in charge, 48 to the outside of Austin Wheeler. And we are underway here in Talladega. 94 laps.
94 laps. Away we go. Talladega going to mean more here tonight as these drivers search for playoff spots. As there's already pushing and shoving happening on the high line. Everybody trying to figure it out. Get a feel for who their drafting partners are, who the drivers are around them. Really interested to see if the top line... Uh-oh, we got already one out of line. Tyler Lem, he's able to save it. He's down on that infield apron there, but he was dirt tracking it, trying to make sure it didn't come back up into the middle of the pack there. It's a great save by Tyler Lem.
Yep, he pulled it off. We'll go back and see if we could find out just what happened to Tyler there. But in the meantime, back up front, that little bit of jostling around kind of broke apart the field a bit.
Everybody finding their own place here as the field gets strung out just a little bit. See that lead pack trying to make it happen as I think the rear of the lead pack here now, Tony Japp's trying to just to stay in the line, just to stay with the group, because the last thing you want to do is get caught out and have to catch back up. But everybody kind of still in drafting distance. You see the bottom line, kind of middle half back, still making their way up here. So not too broken up just yet. That bottom line certainly working here. Everybody
Yeah,
looks like
it sure
a freight
is.
train.
Outside lines trying to come together there. They've got the one car, the 48 is out there trying to make it happen. He's got some help from the 22 and John Ledger in the 19 and Mills in the 88 on the outside.
Yeah, and they're not just riding around up there on that top line. They're battling there as the 88 and the 19 kind of jousting for that position. The 19 ends up going up to a top line, and you see just what happens there as he gets up and there's no drafting partner, and away he goes to the back of the pack. So have to be very careful. It doesn't take much here to get sucked back and out of position. So that's why, again, patience, one of those keys to the race here tonight.
Yeah, the 19 has already fallen back to 16th position, really at the tail end of this field as it tries to come back together. And that second line, that outside line is beginning to form up, though, getting more drivers. You can't do it with 1, 2, or 3 cars. You really got to have 5 or 6 back there to really find a way to charge up to the front. You see the 48 basically said, nope, I'm done, and he moved his way down to the lower line.
I can't blame him. Austin Wheeler's a driver we've seen run out at the front of a lot of races, led a lot of laps this year in this league. So I'm sure if he sees an opportunity to get himself that much closer to the lead, he's not going to take too many chances here tonight. He's going to want to get up to the front. But that top line could form up here, as you said, Rick. It's doesn't seem to be working out the way they need it to right now. Kind of a fanning effect. They're kind of creating 2 and 3 lanes up there, and you see them just dropping back here. So 200 IQ move there for the 48 of Austin Wheeler.
So this is the kind of track where you could, and we have seen in past races, not only 2 wide but 3 wide, especially as we're coming towards a stage break or towards the tail end of this field, or really any time. You can go 3 wide anytime you choose if your heart's in it.
Well, it's all about drafting help and getting groups together, and I think that's why one of the things I'm going to keep an eye on here tonight is, there are teams out here running in the on track here tonight. So how will teams work with one another and really do their best to draft and get momentum for one another and drive a really solid run to try to make moves here as time goes on?
The other thing to consider here is that super speedway and drafting and bump drafting, that's a particular skill. We talk about some guys who are road course guys. We talk about some guys who are really good at short tracks. Well, there are some guys who really excel at the ability to draft and bump draft, to be a good pusher to someone who's out in front. And
it's an art form. Being a good pusher, but being able to take a push too. I mean, it might not look like it from high in the sky here as we watch them rip around Talladega, but every little bump and beat, and I mean, you can see it there. The 24 and the 81 kind of locked up together toward the front. The wheels moving in their hands. They're trying not to get caught out, and they're trying to make sure they keep that car running straight. And unfortunately, that wheel wobbles as it may have on the 24 there of Matthew Parasini, and you get caught out, and the driver ends up sneaking through a spot. And you got to start all over again. But it's much more difficult in the car, I think, than it looks like on track to give and receive those bumps.
Well, she had a great run on the outside. That's Jordan Wenzel. He's got a great push by the 38 of Shane Trotter. Behind Shane, we've got the 88 of Richard Mills trying to get something going. They had a pretty good run there, but it kind of broke down a little bit. But I'm sure they'll get it back. But again, as you mentioned, you've got to be a good pusher and be able to take the push. Now, that's part of the challenge. You saw Jordan Wenzel bobble a little bit there. I think he had a little bit of an off-center push by the 38, and that kind of almost sent him into the wall. The 81 dropped down completely to that low line and bailed on that high line.
Yeah, and maybe, the heat's getting a little too hot in the kitchen up on that high line. Maybe he doesn't like the pushes he's getting. Maybe the pusher's pushing the pusher. The sandwich of the push is not a fun place to be either. So the 81 says, that's enough for me for now. I'm gonna dip down here and let these guys do what they need to do. So 3 car trio here, about to be 4 with Tony Japs there on the top line. We'll see if they can make something work. I think as the race goes on and that patience starts to wear down, you're going to see a little bit more side drafting happening here at Talladega. That's something that can, as you see Walden jump up to the top line. The 43 likes what he sees. He likes the run he's going to get from Trotter as they're going to charge to the front of the field here. He's going to be on the outside of Ron Fitting. He's side by side now with teammate Jordan Booth in the 40 XLI machines here, leading the pack at Talladega. Good move. Good
opportunity to lead a lap just like that. Get the extra point. Every point counts. That's an opportunity. You see that all the time. You leverage that outside line, get a good run, drop down, and hopefully grab a lead. Didn't work out for there. That 38 of Shane Trotter is going to pick up that lap lead there.
Yeah, but that's what you want to do. That's what you want to. That's what that outside line is for trying to get that run and drop down and lead the bottom. But just like Garrett Walden did it, Shane Trotter's able to do it too. And see how much patience these guys have here on this top line. See how far out and away they can get ahead of these leaders. I think there's a little bit of a trio developing here. The 43, 41, and the 38 on the bottom is going to be tough to get around.
Yeah, good push by the 24 as well on that outside line. Great move there by Matt Parasini. A lot of these 40 XLI drivers up in the top 5. Walden, Booth, and Matt Parasini all up there, all the Purple People Eaters.
They're ready. They're up there. They're hungry tonight. As they're still running now. The 88 jumped down, but Richard Mills. You see a little bit of shuffling happening up at the front. I'm curious to see as we go on here. The teammates are going to be okay with each other, and the 340 XLI cars being as in near proximity to one another as they are right now. I think we're going to see these guys 1, 2, and 3 here leading this race here in a moment. Communication is a key at superspeedways, especially at Talladega. So as they continue to get around, I'm sure their radios are on and in use, trying to make it work.
Yep, those 3 XLI drivers now are leading that outside line. Walden, Booth, Parasini on the outside. And with some good drafting and some tucked-in tight racing, these guys can easily take advantage of that and move that line ahead.
Yeah, it's just a matter of they're all going to wait until Matt Parasini can clear Shane Trotter here, maybe to jump to that bottom line, but they are in control now. They get to make that choice.
Oh, big move. They've dropped down, and you got Tony Japs there, right there in the 42. Tony needs a good finish tonight, absolutely. So 2 out of those 3 drivers up there. Walden, let's bring up that playoff implications here. So right now, looking up front, John Druder's got the win. He's back somewhere in around 16. He's fine. Austin Wheeler. Austin is currently sitting in 10th. Jordan Wenzel up there in 11th. Corey Ennis is back in, where is Corey right now? Why am I not seeing Corey? He is in 15th. Tyler Lem, we saw that incident at the beginning. He's sitting back in 20th. Jacob Musso is in 8th. Garrett Walden is right now leading. So that would be exactly what the 43 needs. And then Ty Bostic out back there in 19th. So this race, if it were to finish right now, would have serious points implications in the standings.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be really interesting, too. These guys are all teammates up here at the front. Garrett Walden leading the charge. I'm curious to see how friendly these teammates stay with one another as the race goes on, and if somebody's going to want to really jump out of line and do a little backstabbing to try to get a win here. But we're only lap 13 of 94 laps here clicked off, so we've got some time before we start getting into the drama of the night, but still lots of strategy left to unfold before that.
All right, here we are on lap 13 complete. We do have a stage break at lap 31. But we've got to do some math, Sal. We've got to figure out just where we're going to go here from we should start seeing some green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I know these drivers start with a limited fuel capacity, so this place eats up a lot of fuel, especially if you're up running toward the front, foot down all the way. It'd be interesting to see how much
So right
longevity they
now,
can get out.
our initial calculations for the broadcast truck says that we should get about between 26 and 28 laps or 30 laps per tank of fuel.
So we're at the beginning of the win. They got another 10-ish laps before they start thinking about coming down.
Correct. But they will have to pit, in my calculation, they will have to pit prior to the stage break, which makes it very interesting.
Interesting. I wonder if some of those drivers toward the rear of the field will be able to kind of maybe think about saving enough to stretch that to maybe be able to finish, but not sure how much you can save. It's a hard thing to do, especially here in iRacing. Try to make that work, but we'll see what happens. Can't say enough though about these 40 XLI guys just out here running at the front, steady Eddie. They made all the right moves to get themselves near one another. I'm sure they had some conversations before the race. This is a plan. Let's try to go out there and do it. And they've seemingly got it working pretty good here right from the start. It's going to take a really skilled set of pit stops to make sure they all get on and off together. But if they can get down pit road and back out on track as well as they've gotten around here tonight so far, you could see some of the Purple People Eaters heading to victory lane.
Well, I think the big shock for tonight is the fact that Jordan Booth, the 41, actually was able to make it.
Never hurts to have one extra teammate out there.
No, it doesn't, especially with someone like Jordan Booth, last year's champion, last year's winner of this race, and a member of this 40 XLI team. So they're excited, I'm sure, and you can see right there by that push, just a fabulous push from the 43. That's what Garrett Walden needed, someone there that could actually assist. But again, when it all comes down to it, when this is the last lap, we'll see just who's going to be there or who wants to win.
Yeah, one of those purple cars sure has a shot at it, I'll tell you that. Which one it'll be will be the big question of the night. Garrett Walden looks like he's having a good time up there at the front right now, slice and dice his way up there on that outside row to get there. So very deservedly at the front of the pack, and we'll see how long he can hang on up there with his teammates behind him. Sure seems like a situation that you want to be in.
Well, of course, the other two drivers, Jordan Booth and Matt Perustini, are not in the playoff hunt, so they may do everything they can to help their teammate move on to the final.
Sure would be quite a turn of events for Walden, who got just that close to winning last week at Las Vegas again. Sometimes it don't shake out the way you want it to, but sometimes you get that opportunity the very next week. That's the great part of racing any given Sunday, especially at Talladega.
Absolutely. All right, 18 laps complete here at Talladega, here in the Yellawood 250 here with the iNRS Racing Series. We certainly appreciate all of you who are tuning in live to tonight's event. We appreciate those of you who follow the IWM network and broadcast family anytime you have a chance. If you could, and if you're not, click that subscribe button and get notified when we've got events coming. We'd love to have you as part of the IWM broadcast family. We've got our Wednesday night series with Tech for Troops. We've got our Thursday night series here in iNRS, and occasionally we may have some special events because, Sal, 3 weeks from now, what are we going to do with ourselves? It'll be the off season.
I know I have a couple of things that we're going to be doing, but some special events indeed. I believe we're going to have something a little longer form with a little extra pad in the pocket for the winner. That'll be fun here for these guys in this league and for the broadcast team. So a lot of fun things happening even as the season draws to a close and we get into that off-season period. So,
all right, but here tonight, almost 20 laps complete. Garrett Walden has led a lot of laps here. Let's take a look at this. He's led so far 9 laps. Leader so far over, of course, his teammate, Jordan Booth. Those two have led 16 of the 19 laps.
And they're just sitting pretty up there at the front. The tough thing about the next gen car, and I promise I won't go down too far of a rabbit hole here. The tough thing about the next gen car, iRacing, and in reality, is the super speedway package is unfortunate in terms of if you try to jump out of line and try to get a run, you are just climbing uphill. So a lot of this is going to depend on what these drivers decide to do and how patient they are and what kind of teammates they want to be to each other, and even non-teammates. People who want to work with each other throughout the field here tonight to try to give themselves a chance. Not really worth it to go out and go hard and try to burn your stuff up or hurt yourself early and cause a wreck or whatever. But I'm interested to see as the race goes on if some of these drivers will try something innovative, try something different, because it is just so difficult to not run one by one here at Talladega in this Gen 7 car. Not quite like the old days where you could get close, stick your foot down, and try to make a move. But still a different kind of skill set it takes to be able to do this racing in this car here.
Absolutely. You know, we've talked about it over the course of this Gen 7 car. It is for super speedways. I don't envy NASCAR because it's a struggle. The drivers want more horsepower, but unfortunately, horsepower means more speed carried into the corners, and already they're approaching 200 plus miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, depends on what you want to see out there on track. In reality, they're getting a little bit of a boost on tracks mile and a half and shorter next year, 750 horsepower in them cup cars next year. Super speedways, it's different. They're bigger. You get going faster. You hit that 200 mile an hour mark, like you were saying, a little bit better. Makes the cars faster, makes them a little more dangerous, and it's definitely part of what being a race car driver is all about. So it's definitely a different kind of racing for me. Super speedway racing is some of the most entertaining stuff you'll get. It can be some of the most competitive stuff, and it's definitely the most compelling in terms of what happens, because any move, anybody can win. So avoid that big one and get to the finish line first. That's what it's all about.
So we just changed in-car cameras. We're now riding with Jordan Booth. You can see how limited his visibility is when he's up tight to Garrett Walton. You see the bump he just gave. That we talk about bump drafting. You just saw what that's like. Good old nudge in the back there.
Yeah, I think it's, again, we talked about the inputs and the steering wheel earlier, and being able to see inside of the car really gives you an idea of what they have to do to really just make sure that nose stays pointed the right direction. I don't think it's quite as simple as it may seem, where it's just, okay, put it on cruise control, hang your hand out the window, enjoy the breeze, and we'll see you at the end of the race. It's definitely a little bit more complicated than that. Like you said, the visibility is tough, and when you're drafting and when the margins are so tight, and even just the littlest touch, the littlest bump, just not perfectly square, can put you up into the wall and end your night. It's a huge deal to have the visibility and to have the racecraft to predict where drivers are around you, be comfortable with how drivers are driving around you too. So it's definitely a lot.
Yeah, we were watching Jordan Booth and Garrett Walden. We saw them. They were coming up on a couple of cars that are now a lap down. That was the 99 of Tyler Lem and the 79 of Scott Thomas. Those drivers were just put a lap down.
Yeah, that's Tyler Lem is the first car lap down, if I'm not mistaken. And he's got his own little battle happening with Scott Thomas. Scott Thomas right behind him here now. They're going to be battling for that lucky dog spot, going into the stage caution. So the Lem obviously unlucky there on the first lap, took a kind of a wonky push going down that backstretch and was able to save it. Really saved a lot of the field here tonight. I really give him a lot of credit for being able to take that move and move on with his night. Not an easy one to swallow, but going to put himself in position here to at least be able to get back on the lead lap here, potentially, if he can hold off Scott Thomas.
So right now, going back to the fuel calculations, it's all going to all depend on who you are, because if you're able to save a little bit, you actually can make it to the stage break at lap 31. So I think that those drivers who are not running flat out, because really, if you're a second, third, fourth, fifth car in line, you're maybe half throttle, 3/4 throttle there, because you're being dragged along with the draft.
Yep. I'm really curious to see what the leaders have been doing in terms of like the lights on the dash, where maybe they're not going all the way out. Maybe they're able to control the speed of the field here just a little bit. Let's see. You know, kind of in that yellow range where they want to be, but probably not all the way pushed down to the floor. Trying to save just that little bit to make it to the stage break. 6 laps is, you know, from 25 or from 26 to 31 is not an eternity. You can save that amount of fuel over a long stretch of green flag racing here at Talladega. Big racetrack, big laps, and you can get some big savings if you hit your marks right and make it work. But it's going to be interesting to see how hard they've been pushing over the course of the night here to see when they're going to really have to come down.
Watching the 41 of Jordan Booth as he works his way up to the bumper of the 43 of Garrett Walden. You can see as he's coming out of 2 here, sneaks up to it, and right there, a little off center on that push, but just enough to keep him going.
Sounds like a couple of these drivers are getting ready to head down pit road. I hear Tyler Lem and Scott Thomas. Obviously, they are the lap down cars, but it sounds like they're communicating with one another where they're going to try to hit pit road before the rest of the pack. Here they come now, which is not only smart, but very respectable by those guys to get their cycles in. They know they're a lap down. Get your fuel and make sure you stay out of these guys' way as they try to save and try to race out for stage points in a stage point battle. So good on the 99 and the 79 there. That's a very gentlemanly move of those two guys, and maybe it'll even work out a little bit better for them as they come down as a pair here and they can try to get some speed.
Yeah, you cannot. One of the things you definitely learned, whether it happens to be Sunday in NASCAR or here in iRacing, coming down in one of these super speedways, Daytona, Talladega, by yourself is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's a tough deal. You know, coming back out alone, you get caught in a position where you can't draft. Yeah, here come the leaders and friends coming in.
Yeah, they came down really fast, but man, that was close. No penalties awarded on that. I don't know how they were able to get stopped, but the 41 locked it up.
Yeah, there's about 9 cars just come down pit road here now. That's going to put Jacob Musow back out there in the lead with Austin Wheeler,
it's
Jordan Wenzel.
Fuel only.
Fuel only stops the way to go here. I don't think there's any other choice. Maybe late in the race you want to put some right sides on, but definitely not something you're thinking about right now.
All right, 7 cars have not made it down pit road as of late.
Interesting to see what these guys are trying to do here. Maybe stick it out, make it through the whole stage.
Shane Trotter just came down by himself.
Okay.
All right, headed back up front. That puts Jacob Musow with the 25 out in front. He's got the 48 of Austin Wheeler behind. That's Corey Ennis, Jordan Wenzel, Joe Musow. Let's see if they will take this opportunity.
These guys running pretty competitively up here. I mean, I know they're coming for pit stops, but Ennis and Wheeler running door to door here with Wenzel kind of behind them, just on that bottom line, waiting in the wings. Gonna have to get down here. There he goes. Ennis tucks back into line.
2 laps to go. I think they're gonna try and stretch it.
You're gonna race it out here, Rick. I think that's what the plan is. Gonna be big for stage points.
Big for stage points.
Just goes to show, as much as Garrett Walden needs those points to advance himself in the playoff standings, he's not just looking for points here tonight. He's looking for a win. It's what his mind is set on, what his team's mind is set on, and he's in a really great position. He will be in a really great position again, as they've been most of this race, to get the job done here tonight. But as we get to the end of the stage here, it's looking like Jacob Musow is going to be the guy out here at Talladega.
Jacob Musow, who's 1 point below the cut line, a stage win would be critical. Oh,
He's
to have some competition, right? Yeah. Oh, big bump by the 48. Oh, they leave him. He's out of fuel. I think that 25 is out of fuel.
He's got no friends nearby to help push him either. That's going to be rough as he tries to get it. Looks like Ennis might be running a little low. He's slowed down quite a bit. Wheeler not looking to push it either. Now Jordan Wenzel's in the lead.
Yeah, but he is. Let's bring up a dash on Wenzel.
That don't look good.
Oh my gosh.
All of these drivers running out of fuel before they can even get back to the start finish to get the caution flag here for the stage.
I think the pits were closed, but he doesn't have a choice. They're out of gas. Where is Austin Wheeler? They're limping.
Oh my. Oh yes.
Someone's going to have to give the 25 a push. He is dead in the water.
That is the gamble you take here at Talladega. Chris Cash also out of fuel.
He is limping on board.
Jacob and Joseph Musow both out of fuel here.
You can see there's just nothing there. He's just creeping along at 27 miles an hour. He may be able to find his pit.
It's a slow roll, but if he can get there, it's going to save him. He's going to save himself a lot of heartache, I think, here tonight.
Now he qualified in 8th, so he's got a long way to go. There's his pit stall. Oh my gosh, he is going to make it.
Just crawling in. That's all it needs.
Oh, but he may have. Did he? Oh, he made it.
He's in. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So who won the stage there? Did Garrett Walden win that stage?
I don't know. That's where I show out front, so could be.
What a strange turn of events. That is the gamble you make, the gamble you take at Talladega with fuel. If it works, you look like a genius. If it doesn't, you look slow on a closed pit road trying to get the gas man out.
Let's go back out to when this caution flew.
I would imagine. They were the first ones down. They'd be the first ones out.
Yep, Walden will. My guess is he will get the stage points.
That's big for him. His team able to come back down again and get fresh fuel. So they really lost nothing, gained everything in terms of what they could get out of the stage as individuals and as a team. So a big move for them, a smart move for that 3-car team here tonight.
All right, so a pretty good shakeup here in the iNRS Racing Series. Stage break here at lap 31. A little bit of gambling took place. They were not able to capitalize on the gamble. They did not save enough fuel to make it, but we'll see how it all plays out. Right now I've got Austin Wheeler, who will be scored, I believe, out in front and will lead this group to the restart. I think Scott Thomas will get the wave around.
I guess that leaves Lem a lap down. One of those two drivers might get the wave around.
I think that's going to be the 79 will get the wave around. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm going to reach out to admin and get us a info on the stage winners there, because I'm not really sure we've got that information.
It was an interesting way that it all unfolded. So Definitely one to be a little curious about, especially with the implications that it could have here. As we know, I believe it's that 43 car, Garrett Walden, one that needs as many as he can get here tonight. Two teammates that are going to try to help him get there.
So you're saying, wow, why are these guys back on pit road for 2 or 3 times? That's just very typical here at Talladega. Everybody comes back on, tops off with fuel. Even if it was only half a gallon, they want every little bit of fuel they can get in these tanks.
Wow, it's interesting. I wonder if there'll be anyone will be so bold as to continue to gamble here and get themselves a little bit of track position. You see Richard Mills and Ron Fitting now running out front, because you never know, what could happen here. The big one has eluded us here tonight thus far, but if you get a caution at some point in that race, maybe being at the front is valuable to you at that point. And you can still get around here with as much fuel as you need. So it'll be interesting to see how everybody is able to get this one done.
All right, so our stage break is over. That's a competition caution that came out. So the stage results, Jacob Musso gets the points for the wins the stage. Austin Wheeler is in second, Corey Ennis in third, Jordan Wenzel fourth, Joseph Musso fifth, Christopher Cash in sixth, Garrett Walden seventh, Matt Parasini eighth, Jordan Booth 9, and Ty Bostic 10.
All right, there we go. The answer to the mystery question.
That explains a lot. So they had enough fuel to make it to when the stage points counted. Good for them.
Yeah, that's a great strategy call. I mean, it literally come down to which side of the tri-oval you could have gas until
right?
that caution flew. So good for them for taking a risk there and it paying off.
All right, but now it's a whole new race. They've topped off their tanks. Nearly everybody, and I'll say nearly about half the field took tires. All the field took tires at some point, but the rest of the field took. They topped off their fuel tanks, so we're time to go it all. Now this becomes a 60-lap race.
And everybody opting for that bottom line here, besides Ron Fitting. Ron Fitting stayed on that outside for whatever reason. Going to be a tough restart here for him. Might be able to squeak into a gap here and get some of that track position back. I'm sure that's part of his thought process as he does make that choice.
Richard Mills leads the field and was in charge of that restart. Jeff Ramsell's in second. Ron Fitting is sitting in third. Jacob Musso in fourth. Chris Cash is in fifth. That's your top 5.
Like you said, it's a whole new race all over again. Some things that are still the same. The 41, the 43, and the 24 running instinctively.
So we're seeing black flags right now for the Corey Ennis in the 27 and also for Austin Wheeler. We're going to find out just why those black flags fell.
Yeah, Ennis is coming down pit road right here.
Yep, I think they both are.
I wonder what that was for. Well, back up toward the front here, you've got these guys just one at a time making their way around here with Richard Mills, one of the best all-time paint schemes. I don't know. That's just one man's opinion, but
especially if you're a Dale Earnhardt fan.
Yeah, an iconic piece out there tonight leading the back.
All right, looks like we hear from admin that they were those two guys. I think they had entered a closed pits, and so they had to serve out their penalty. Unfortunately, that puts them a lap down.
The only positive ray of sunshine for those two guys is that it happened to both of them at the same time. Now, whether they're friends on track or not, they're going to make friends fast with one another here tonight to be able to try to run back to get a little bit of speed and not continue to go laps down. It can happen just that easily. And having a draft partner, I mean, just is absolutely a life ring out there in the big vast openness that is Talladega.
Well, these two guys have got to, I would almost encourage the 27 to kind of drag the brake a little bit and let the 48 catch up. You're going to be a whole lot faster as two cars than one.
I'd hope they're yapping to each other on the radio here, trying to make it work. It's because it's really no fun for either of them to just ride around by themselves. So even if it means him having to back up to help the competitor get close to him, over the course of the run, they will end up gaining speed, even if that leader of those two cars does drag that brake and back himself up spiritually.
As a point of reference, in this pack, as these drivers are going around nose to tail, they're around 50.67 seconds per lap as a pack. When their drivers are going around individually, Coriolis 59.29, so nearly 10 seconds slower, which means this whole field will catch them in 5 laps.
Yeah, it's a death sentence if you're not able to figure it out and then try to get into the draft. So hopefully that's something that they're working on back there, and they can try not to get deeper into a hole. As we see the top line develop here, that's the 19 of John Ledger, Shane Trotter, it's Vince Burns, and that's Austin Walton all up on the top line, making it, not just trying it, but making it happen. Shane Trotter now here jumping down to the bottom line. That's the 19 of John Ledger taking the lead now.
Now, we did see earlier, you saw the 97 of Jeff Ramsdell as he was coming through the corner. He got his left side tires down on that yellow line. That is the danger zone. That apron where it meets the racing surface, there's a bit of an angle change right there that with a little bit too much, you will upset this car and you will loop it around.
Absolutely. Danger zone's a nice way to put it. You will absolutely get yourself caught and be nosing off into that wall in a hurry if you hit that yellow line of the right way, the right amount of speed, the right angle. So can cause problems, but can also give you a little bit of an extra run of speed to try to get close to that guy in front of you. But a real risky move. If you're doing it on purpose, it's a risky move right now. But these cars are blowing around too in this draft. So again, something to keep your eye on here.
Got the 55 of Vince Burns to the outside. He's getting some help from the 17 of Austin Walton trying to get up front. As fast as we call out who's leading and where, that will change.
Yeah, it's changing in a hurry here as this pack up here at the front. These guys running side by side, two rows now. Burns and Ledger, Walton, Trotter. Now you've got two more coming into the mix here. That's Ron Fitting, Christopher Cash up there. That top line getting a little bit of extra juice.
Yeah, the 69 of Chris Cash joined them. You know, it's 2 cars is okay, 3 cars is better, 4 car, well, that's a good story. But the challenge is that you see already the Austin Walton kind of going back and forth here. It is super challenging to push here at these speeds. And all it takes is to be a little bit out of line or not lined up, and bad things can happen.
And it doesn't take much, like we talked about earlier. Even if you are with the best intentions, trying to give it a little bit of a push, trying to make it work, it's just that little off cue can really hurt somebody's night.
So the 48 and the 27 still have not figured out how to come together yet. They're still running apart from each other. And they're about, well, the pack is about halfway to catching up to them.
I will say, give every one of these drivers some credit here tonight that we haven't had anything, knock on wood, no commentator's curse here. They've just been super competitive with one another. You know, not a lot of beating and banging, not a lot of like any kind of real misconduct out here tonight. It's easy to get impatient at Talladega. It's easy to want to try to make a move, and it's easy to make ill-advised cut downs into the track to try to get spots and make things happen for you. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel at Talladega a little bit brighter than at other tracks, and it makes people push a little harder. But everybody here really shows their skill set and the class of the field here as they get around here. Lap number 45 coming up this time by of 94.
Looking on back through the field, just looking to see where those 40 XLI guys are. They're sitting back in 12th, 13th, and 14th, nose to tail, looking for an opportunity. But this is kind of like the time where it's okay to dog paddle for 40 laps or so.
Yeah, those guys are in an incredible position where they are, and they're running in 12th and whatever, but they're able to jump out as a group anytime and get up on that high line and try to make a run, especially if there's another group of cars like there is right now on that outside. They can try to run up to one another. And they're all yelling. Hold on. You hear some of these guys yelling, getting a little impatient, talking about, okay, here we go, let's go. What are we doing? Maybe that patience is starting to run out.
Everybody right now in that main group is just kind of doing their thing. You certainly could decide to jump out and see if you can, make up some positions, but it's not so bad to be back there in 10th, where you see Jordan Wenzel. Kind of a good place to be. Because as we said, we're just coming up to the halfway point here at lap 47 will be the halfway point here tonight.
Yeah, and it's been clean and green, and the racing's been mean all night long. And John Ledger, Shane Trotter, Ron Fitting. I was a little curious what Ron Fitting was doing there that last restart, but I see Ron Fitting, smart guy, able to use that outside line to stay up there and drop in and make it make sense as they were getting going. So good on the 3 car. Good to see the 3 running up at the front.
I think it goes back to what we talked about and the keys for tonight's race. You got to have a bit of patience.
Absolutely. See some pushing and shoving happening in the middle there. Driver shooting up to the outside. That was 22 of Ty Bostic.
See the 55 of Vince Burns kind of slipped back a little bit.
Oh, there was a moment there. You said earlier, Rick, you get below that double yellow, and things get a little slippery. The 24, Matthew Parasini, looked like he was just trying to get a little extra out of his car there. I don't think he had anybody helping him from behind, but definitely lost a little bit of pace. You see John DeRugis running alongside with him, but this battle for the lead is unreal right now. This top line's forming up.
Let's jump on board with the 17 of Austin Walton. He's right there. Yeah, all he could do is look at the bumper here. They just dropped down. Let's go back out. Right there, they had that run. They did a great job of it. They took over the lead. Vince Burns, yeah. Austin Walton.
I wouldn't wear my white fire suit out here tonight with moves like that happening.
On board with Bostic now. You can see he's found a way to climb up now. Bostic is sitting in 4th. He's got Austin Walton just in front of him. Chris Cash to the outside. Not a lot of visibility. John Ledger there, 19 behind the 22.
And that's the power of the top line that those guys were able to harness as they were able to leapfrog most of this field. We talk about Scott Thomas for a second. Scott Thomas was the lucky dog at the last restart at the stage break, and here he is running in 6th. So having that patience and making sure you're making the right moves at the right time can put you in an interesting position, as a lot of these drivers who are running out front. Vince Burns now in the lead. Where was he in the beginning of this race? Doesn't matter. He's at the front now.
See, Scott Thomas. Scott Thomas started in 16th position here. He went a lap down. Now he's up to 6th and doing a great job here in the Superspeedway.
And it looks like, too, I know we talked a little bit earlier about some of those cars that got served that black flag penalty. There goes Austin Wheeler staying up on the high side, get out of the way of
out of the way of the field, but unfortunate that he and Ennis could not get together with one another and try to figure that one out. As looks like Christopher Cash runs up there to try to give him a hand, get him back into the draft, push him along a little bit. Those two teammates, I believe.
Tyro Lem is the lucky dog if something were to happen. The 99 is currently sitting there in 1 lap down. He will get his lap back. But you can see this field. That is the 27 of Corey Ennis trapped there on the outside there. Unfortunately, both he and Austin Wheeler incurred some black flags, which caused them to have to go in the pits under green flag conditions, therefore pushing them pretty far back.
Yeah, and that's just a rough way to have things go for your night. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the next car. Well, you said it was Tyler Lem is the next car a lap down, right?
Correct. Yeah, he is the lucky dog candidate.
All right. See if Austin Wheeler can't get ahead of him here with a little help from Christopher Cash. Those two guys might be running side by side here in a minute, but
I want to go back in and look at this is Austin Wheeler's position. He, as these cars settle in, you'll see right now he's entering turn 1, but you can tell there's no visibility. You've really got only the rear deck lid of that car in front of you. You can see just what his sponsors are doing, but that's about all you see here, especially when he rolls up right now, picks up the draft, and contacts the bumper right there of the 55 and takes his ability and pushes him, get as much speed as possible down that backstretch.
And it is so challenging, too, because you don't get a great feeling for how long the nose of that car is on iRacing. When you're in a car driving in person, you can kind of feel it differently. It is difficult in these cars to know exactly when you're making contact. The noses are slanted down just a bit, too. So you get a little bit more length out of those front ends, but definitely a tough one. Something that these guys have to take into account.
Well, yeah, it's not unlike your everyday driver when you're out there. You don't know exactly. It's only by feel that you know where the nose of your front bumper is. You can't actually see that. Same way with these guys.
Interesting to see some of these guys here now breaking away. It's like the top 6 are kind of gapping out, and Wheeler is kind of in the land of in between right now. But keeping our eyes still on these 40 XLI guys. Not sure what the play is. I'm sure there's a strategy there. There's no doubt about it. But Walden, Booth, and Parasini running 13th through 15th right now, just biding their time, waiting for something to happen around them, waiting for some kind of opportunity. Interesting how long they'll decide to wait after just watching that high line work for a lot of these drivers who are up here at the front right now. As we get closer, as the laps tick down, it's 54 of 94 complete.
And we should, at this point, begin to consider when we'll be down for pit stops. If we assume that our max is about 30 laps, these guys pitted at lap 34, that means 64. That means sometime in the next 10 laps, we will see these guys on pit road.
Yeah, that strategy will start to play into how we see this field shuffle up here again for, the unofficial third phase of this race after the final round of pit stops.
Well, it may not be the final round. That's what I was talking about earlier. Sure. If we assume that they're going to pit at lap 64, that means there's only 30 laps left, and that is right there at the end of their fuel window. And they're coming down. If they're coming down in green flag conditions, that completely changes the calculation. You've got to stretch this run out until that car is bone dry to try and do this on one stop.
And we know these guys aren't afraid to run it out to bone dry, considering what we saw earlier in the race.
That is very true. But that also assumes you're going to have nothing in the tank if this winds up being a green-white checker.
And that is a tough reality to live with if that ends up being the case.
Especially at a super speedway. Because
not a lot you can do.
No, there's no forgiving. If you run out of fuel on the backstretch, you are toast. You are you were lucky to see, is it Joe Musso or Jacob Musso limping, or was it the 27? Trying to get my numbers correct. No, I think it was Joe Musso, as he was kind of coming in limping, or Jacob, on that last restart.
Yeah, it's very unforgiving unless you have a very generous teammate or driver in the field that wants to help push you back around to the start finish line with no fuel at all. Those things don't happen often, but it's chess, not checkers out here when it comes to the fuel game at super speedways in this next gen car.
All right, 57 laps complete. Again, we talked that we should begin to see fuel. We're entering into that point now where we should see some drivers in the next 5 to 7 laps on pit road.
I'm interested to see what the team pit strategy looks like for a lot of these guys. They're going to want to come as groups again. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, a couple of these groups are broken apart. If you look at the IWM guys, that's Ty Bostic, John Ledger, and John DeRudris. But Bostic and Ledger are running 3 and 4, and DeRudris is back in 17th.
Might give them an opportunity to regroup if they decide to come down pit road on an off lap strategy. So there's something to that as well. But tough to have a crystal ball and get in the minds of these guys.
Scott Thomas is on pit road. So that means he will definitely need another stop before this race is out.
Scott Thomas having a really good run, regardless of where he finishes tonight. Something to be proud of, that he was able to go from 16th to a lap down to back up into 6th. I mean, he's working on this thing, chipping away one lap at a time, and it's been a good it's been a good run here tonight. We have a caution.
Caution's out. Joe Musso. 28 car, that is, I guess Scott Thomas made it out, but fortunately it's a 28. You can see right there the apron and the racing surface, and unfortunately it just really affects the car. You got to kind of work it around here. There you go. Don't take such a big bite and get that car pointed in the right direction. But let's see if we can see just what happened to Joe Musso.
Yeah, I think the 41, I hear them on the radio, so we'll see. It's interesting to see the replay here, but are you in the vicinity of the 40? Oh, man. That is just a move where the 41's running a little bit lower. The checkup happens.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. There's a checkup, and unfortunately, 41 made contact.
See here in super slow-mo.
Well, you
saw
just a second ago, you saw the flames come out the right side exhaust, which means he backed off the accelerator. There's a checkup, and there's a contact.
Yeah, that's just one that, like, I'm sure guys are going to be upset about, but there's not a ton that can be done in that situation at the speed that they're going. The 41 really has not a tremendous amount of time to react to that incident happening in front of them, and it's unfortunate because the 28's tracking around with the car directly in front of him, so he thinks he's in a very safe position running the line that he should be running. The 41 obviously running a little bit off kilter, not anywhere he shouldn't be, but that checkup just is wicked, especially running around in the back like that. But it's going to bring everybody down pit road here, and it's going to really work out for
the 99 of Tyler Lem will get his lap
99
back.
99, and also it's going to work out for Scott Thomas.
Yep.
Who might have lost a lap there, maybe, as he might have tried to come back out. He's going to be able to stay with the field here, so that's a kind of a bonus for Scott Thomas.
It's like real mixed bag here. Some drivers took fuel only. Scott Thomas came in, took fuel only. Others took right sides. Others took 4 tires.
It's a mixed bag strategy here. I like it. Keeps things spicy.
Okay, with that actually cycles Ty Bostic up to the front, and he will be in control of this restart. He will have Scott Thomas to, I guess, his outside. Chris Cash and Vince Burns will be in the next row. It should be a very interesting restart. Everybody came in. Now that changes our fuel calculation we just spent all that time talking about. Now we're under yellow with 34 laps to go. Maybe we go back to green, 32 laps to go. It's going to be close.
That's what the math is all about in these situations.
If I had to guess, let's go in cockpit with Ty Bostic. My guess is some of these guys are going to be saving fuel right now.
I'd be clutching my way around right now, or turning it on and starting it off a little bit where you know you can get a good roll. I don't blame them. Going to be tight on fuel. Now, that incident, the first natural caution we've had here tonight.
Yeah.
From an incident, too, that didn't seem like it was anything more than just a little bit of a misunderstanding. And we talked about the visibility. We talked about how tough it can be to, know what you're doing and know who you're around. And that's a racing deal that happened right there. But interesting to see how busy Barney will be up on the flag stand as we get into the closing stages. If how patient drivers are. And I know I feel like we haven't talked a lot about Scott Thomas throughout the course of the year. No disrespect to Scott in any way, but Scott really having a fun run here. He's back up in pole position here if he stays out here behind the pace car.
Yeah, all those drivers, those 7 drivers stayed out. They chose not to come back in and top off at lap 60. That does give them, in my opinion, the most natural opportunity to make it on this one stop.
It's going to take every last fume.
Yeah, exactly. All right, no penalties that time around. Clean stops as this field begins to reform up. The lights are off on top of our pace car here, lap 61. We'll get the green flag at lap 62, which means if we stay green, 32 laps to close out the Yellawood 250 here in the iNRS Racing Series.
And if you're just tuning in now, this is the time to stick around. This is the time to stick around and be a part of this stream here tonight, because it's just getting heated up. There's just so much that can still unfold here. So many drivers, so many storylines, so many playoff points that are out there ready to be collected, and a lot of drivers who really, really need it that much more. Here we go through the restart zone. Green flag is back out here at Talladega. It's Scott Thomas and Christopher Cash back up here across the line as the pack starts to catch back up. Christopher Cash making it happen there on the outside on the bottom line. Down on bottom line here now.
Good run. 55 of Vince Burns has got the 17. Those guys have been drafting partners all night. 27 of Corey Ennis. Corey is a lap down, but he's up there trying to help out that group on the outside. Still, right now we've got John DeRutris, Corey Ennis, and Austin Wheeler are lapped out. Actually, John DeRutris is out. Not sure what happened, but John DeRutris is retired.
Wow, interesting. Last week's winner calling it quits early this week. I mean, it's one of those positions he's in where thankful to be locked in to the Final Four, where he can afford to take a knock, whatever it may have been, whatever happened to him here tonight. But unfortunately, he couldn't finish.
Try to get a bit of insight into what happened with the 59. But here we are out front. Vince Burns got a good run on that outside with the 17, using it to his advantage, trying to sneak past the 69 of Christopher Cash.
Outside line working. Everybody zigging and zagging, trying to find a home here, trying to find partners that won't just hang them out to dry, but will help them out and get them where they need to go. That's Burns and Walton on that outside with Ennis. That 3-car little trio right there, that's the one to watch here. They're a little bit tighter up to one another than those cars on the bottom line. You see one of the 40 XLI drivers, that's, I believe it's Parasini was on the top line. He just dove back down to the bottom, but I'm still curious to see what the strategy is there. Those guys have had a good plan all night. They're running nose to tail, 1, 2, and 3, respectively, back there in the pack. That's the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th position. Tony Japs dives down, gets in front of Parasini there also on that bottom line. That top line starting to fall apart just a little bit. Went from 6 cars to 5 cars to 4 cars to 4 cars. So let's see.
Just got word John Drugis is back in it. He lost internet. That's one of those things we talk about. That is always a problem.
He's got to get rid of that Starlink internet. I don't know. The 5G hotspot isn't the answer for these league races.
All right, 65 laps complete here of 94. Leaves us just 29 laps to finish here. Yes, with these limited cautions, it definitely comes down to fuel mileage and fuel economy. But I don't see too many guys out there saving. Between the yellow flag that came out to the stage break and now that incident in lap 60, you really are not. We haven't seen much fuel saving.
Yeah, really nobody holding back. Everybody kind of just hammer down and letting the cards fall the way they may here toward the end of this race.
Now that may change completely as we get further into this event, as these laps begin to wind down. But Chris Cash up in front in the 69. Scott Thomas, another great right now. Just to think about it, Chris Cash, he started 13th in this race. Scott Thomas started 16th, and they're 1-2 right now.
Yeah, chestnut checkers all night long here, being patient, making moves. I know we talked a little bit about those guys maybe
contact. Yep, contact. That's 7. I think that just got to get a feel for what happened. That car is fading back. Yep, that is the 17 right of Austin Walton, who actually came down, and I think he ended up contacting the 43. We'll go back and take a look at that.
Yeah, it looked like they just kind of got together there, fanned them out a little bit. No harm, no foul for anybody making major contact, but it definitely killed some runs of speed there for those guys as they were just getting ready to roll into turns 3 and 4 out of the backstretch. Still 2 cars up here on that top line. Oh, here's the replay.
It may not be exactly where, but we're watching that 17 car. Oh, he got a bit of bump from the 27.
Looked like he tried to... Oh, boy. It looked like he tried to check up there maybe he had a run, tried to check up there, not get into Wenzel.
Let's back it up just a little bit here.
Or who's that? Is that Wenzel? No, that's Burns in front of the 17.
Yeah, Burns at the 55 in front.
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, they backed out of it, and then 27 tapped the 17. He's definitely struggling a bit. And the 41 is just there. You saw the damage to the left rear bumper of the 17. 41 came down into the 42. Tony Japs, as they tried to get around. I'm not sure just what happened with the 17, but he may have some damage. He is in the pits. He has got a meatball. That car is severely damaged. That 17 is going to have to stay in for repairs.
It almost looks like the motor blew out on it. I don't know if that's something that can happen, but it almost looked like he just, a little puff of smoke, a little tap of the brake. He just lost power, dropped back. I'm not sure, but
that was definitely a weird kind of an incident after running what I
Oh!
would consider a really good
Hang
run.
on. Someone's driving through the field. Let's go. Who's
On the grass.
that? Was Tyler Lem. A little bit of a crossing
There's
the
some
grass.
hollering.
Yeah, he's got a black flag for something.
Looks like Ledger checked up. Lem tried to avoid him. Ended up going for a little bit of a ride there through the grass.
There's a lot of angst, a lot of angst going on here. Back here, position 10, 11, 12 here.
It's like I said before this race got started. It might not be the most fun for these guys to race this race, but it sure is a lot of fun for us up here in the booth watching this unfold. Let me tell you. I hope everybody's enjoying this one out there on YouTube tonight.
All right, single file here as these laps begin to chip away. 25 laps to go. So Tyler Lem's got to come in. He's got to serve a black flag. I think when he came across the grass, he may have got either an unsafe pit entrance, or I'm not sure how iRacing scored that, but unfortunately you can see on the tower.
He was asking admins for to waive it because he did get an unsafe pit entry there. You can hear him through the race chat. Because he's going to get DQ'd if he stayed out any longer. So not sure if they decided to make that choice, but I believe you are right with that one, Rick.
All right, you can see that this field is basically nose to tail. There are a few drivers that are struggling in the back. I think that's 38 of Shane Trotter that's by himself. And also the 59 of John DeRudris, who had an internet issue, got disconnected, came back in, but unfortunately I think he finds himself 4 laps down. Luckily for him, he won last week. So, his ticket is punched to Phoenix.
Just ripping around at the back. He's just on a Sunday drive, so it's high pressure moments for everybody else here tonight. He's one of the few who can breathe easy.
Keeping our eye on here up front with the 69 of Chris Cash, with the 79 of Scott Thomas right there. Just doing well. They're just chipping away. 24 laps complete here.
It looks like Lem is looking at a 65-second hold. Sounds like officials might downgrade that to just a drive-through penalty. That's a tough one for Lem, who's had a rough night here already, to try to avoid something and then get dinged with an iRacing penalty like that. So working with the officials to make it not as damaging as it could be is always positive to hear over the radio as they work this one out. But these laps are ticking away.
He is on pit road. So the only retiree at this point is the 17 of Austin Walton. He has got that damage that he caught in the left rear that disabled that car. He is out for the event.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, just really curious to know for sure what happened there, but it looked like a strange sequence of events and just got slow, looked like he lost a little bit of speed, lost some power there, and just not his night. Talladega spits him up, chews him up, spits him out sometimes, and unfortunately for Walton, that's the case. But was having a good run up until that point.
Looks like the admins took pity on Tyler Lem and he's at the tail end of the lead lap at this point. That doesn't mean he's in the free. He's got about a half a straightaway before this field will run him over.
Yeah, running significantly slower. His last lap by a 59.134. The leader running a 51.232. So again, showing just how much that draft means. Tyler Lem getting a break, but really not in a position to feel its effect right now.
Yeah, it's one of those inevitable things. You're dying a slow death out there.
It sucks.
All right, looks like we got a little bit of an effort. Of course, that's Cerudris to the outside there. He's 4 laps down. He's got John Ledger that's tucked in behind him, trying to leverage that, even though he's not in contention. but Ledger's in 5th, so he's up there. Plus he's the 48 now as well. Also, that's Austin Wheeler. He has lapped down on the outside, along with the 3 of Ron Fitting. So, a mix of cars that are lapped down and not taking over the lead.
It's an interesting strategy call for those 4 cars that, DeRougers now out to the front of the field, not to the lead because of the internet disconnect he had earlier, but not afraid to get up there and mix it up with these guys. The 19 of John Ledger is your leader, and he's got to be loving what he's able to do here with DeRougers, the lap car, using that car just essentially as an arrow plow to get that speed and hopefully use that draft. Ooh, as Wheeler there with a little bit of a bobble in the 48. That was scary on the outside, but Ledger, able to use the 59 to his advantage here and try to create some separation from himself and Ron Fitting and the rest of the field here as, 48. Austin Wheeler scooted in there behind Fitting. That was tight quarters.
Grabbing the shot from our Crank It Up cams.
Best cameras in broadcasting right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Almost feel the vibration through the speakers.
This place is so much fun. This track, this whole area, for those who've ever been out to Talladega in person for the Real Deal Cup Series, I mean, it is a blast to be out here and be a part of all the action that takes place during Talladega weekend. It's truly one that's special. So you feel that little bit of excitement here, even though this is iRacing. You can feel it. You feel the tingle come back, and you know what this place is all about. Is I think Tyler Lem's going to feel the vibration of the field here coming around. They're getting ever closer to him. Talked about how he was quite a bit slower after serving that penalty. But like you said, Rick, I believe you said it was like dying a slow death. Well, it's going to feel that much slower here now as the field is up on him. He's going to stay glued to the bottom line. DeRougers and Ledger going to wheel it around him. DeRougers is back down to the bottom with Ledger and Fitting behind him. And again, I mean, the 19 and the 3 have to be absolutely loving what's going on with the 59 leading the way, clearing the dirty air, or that running in the clean air, giving them that draft in front of them as they are just kind of able to get away a little bit. And Lem now part of that group. A lot of lap cars in the mix toward the front of the field.
Austin Wheeler popped into the YouTube chat and said he blew up the 17, trying to get a feel for whether that was temperature or a shift that caught that 17.
It seemed like that was the case. Something had happened.
Yep, you're right.
It just seemed like something popped there on him because he was running real good, but unfortunate, really unfortunate for him. There goes John D. He's going to roll up to the high side. He's going to get out of this battle. He said, "I had enough. I did what I needed to do." Not sure what he was really doing there. It seemed like he was really helping out some of the leaders, John Ledger, Ron Fitting. I'm sure, grateful for his contributions up there at the front of the field, and he's just going to settle on back there out on that high side. That's it for John D. But it's John Ledger out in the lead still.
Ron Fitting currently out there in second. Now, if you're looking at at that tower off to the left side, or the crawl across the top, you got some drivers who are in blue, others with a red stripe behind them, and also one with gold. So those drivers outlined in red, those are the playoff drivers who are still alive. Those in blue are regular series racers. And look at that, top 6. Not a playoff driver to be seen until Jordan Wenzel. He's the only playoff driver in the top 10.
Yeah, kind of on an island, Wenzel, of the playoff drivers.
Yeah.
But he can hold it steady here, get a good finish here tonight. That'll go a long, long way
Those other guys are still going to have to make up some ground. A lot of laps here left, though. 14 laps right now, 13 this next time by. We're on lap 80. I think you start seeing some of the more aggressive moves come out of people's pockets here as we get rolling. Going to take some chances.
Yep.
How are we looking on fuel, Rick?
Across the start-finish line right here, 14 laps to go. Well, you know, from what we guessed, at lap 60, which is when John Ledger pitted, you know, that leaves him with 34 laps to finish, but he's out in front, and unfortunately, he probably was able to save some fuel when he was sitting behind the 59 of DeRutris, but when you're out in front, that gas pedal is mashed down to the floor. You know, you don't have any opportunity to save fuel.
You're at the brunt of all that air up at the front, and it's just there's such a drag on that car at the front. Now, the second place driver, Ron Fitting's probably looking up there to the rear of the 19 and counting his lucky stars that he's able to be in that draft, save a little bit of extra fuel, could get a little bit of a run toward the end of this race. So be interesting to see how the fuel cards fall as the 19 drifts up to the high side here. Maybe an issue for Ledger, the leader, right now, as he's a little bit slow on the track, way up out of the groove. He's moving the wrong direction. What happened to John Ledger?
Not sure. Yeah. Let's jump on board. So we can... No, he's still flat out. It's not like he's out of fuel, but he's drifted to the back.
I mean, maybe just doesn't like what he sees behind him, or the way that they're running each other at the front. I don't think we saw anything that was too egregious, but he's now going to slip back in behind the 59 of John DeRutris. The John's running at the rear now, nose to tail.
Well, also another teammate of theirs is Ty Bostic, so those are 3 IWM drivers at the tail end. It's quite possible they could try to mount a charge, but 12 laps to go. They better get organized. In the meantime, that other group of drivers, you know, Matt Parasini, Garrett Walden, sitting back in 10th. Booth is in 8th. Booth has got the 42 of Tony Japs on his tail, and Jordan Wenzel right there as well. So laps are ticking away here, Sal.
Yeah, I'm kind of sitting with bated breath, waiting for these things to happen. I'm watching Christopher Cash and Wheeler here, Austin Wheeler, work together with one another, even though Wheeler's the lap car. Definitely some strategy to this.
Well, those are teammates,
right?
Yeah. Chris Cash and Austin Wheeler are teammates. If you're the leader, you want that, but you know, there's a lot of things I would like to be, but if I'm racing here at Talladega and I'm leading, I don't want to be leading on this last lap. I want to be either second or third so I can at least make a run.
Well, it looks like the IWM boys are looking to make a run right here. They have pulled up out onto the top line, about middle back of the pack here. We talked about John Ledger was leading this race, dropped back to the rear of the field. Now these 3 drivers are making a run up the outside here, Rick. It's a really big brain strategy move if it works. They have quite a bit of real estate to make up, but they're making it up in a hurry here as we have just 9 laps to go.
Good move. They're already up to 5th. Big charge already, but was it too soon?
I think we're going to find out here in a minute, because I'm really surprised the 40 XLI guys haven't tried this same move. Maybe they're waiting a little bit longer to make sure they're all lined up a little bit better, knowing they can make it on fuel. I have to imagine this is a strategy that other teams have thought of as well, but I mean, Ty Bostic's gonna go to the lead here with DeRutris shoving him and Ledger just in tow on that top line. They're making a ton of speed right now.
Yeah, well, going back to the standings, let's bring that back up. Ty Bostic is right there in 8th. Yeah.
That's spicy.
That is spicy. We'll see how it all plays out here. Again, chess versus checkers, I guess, to some extent. But Ty Bostic right now shown as the leader. Austin Wheeler is out in front on the low side, but he is a lap or so down. Out there helping his teammate Chris Cash, who is currently shown in third. So you've got Ty Bostic, John Ledger, Chris Cash, Ron Fitting, and Scott Thomas there, 1 through 5.
Starting to hear drivers talk about pit stops here. Potential green flag fill-ups.
That could be interesting.
Could be interesting here, making sure they all come down together and get a good run off. But
we talked about that. Les, is it possible to make it? I don't know.
I think some of these guys are going to push the envelope and try to find out here. I think we're in for a very, very exciting finish, ladies and gentlemen. If you're tuning in on YouTube, you're going to want to keep your eyeballs glued to that TV, because we're just getting started with the party here.
7 laps to go here in Talladega. Yellawood 250 here in the iNRS Racing Series. Just the second race of the round of 8. After here, we go to Martinsville, which is a short track. This is your only opportunity. We have leaders from all over this league who have been out front tonight.
I mean, it's been a grab bag of drivers who've been up at the front of this field, from laps. Oh, here they all come down pit road, Rick.
Bunch of drivers on pit road now.
Uh-oh. We got some wrecking going on down there on pit road, I believe. I saw some smoke kicking up from the 48, getting sideways
48
on the grass there.
I think he locked it up. Unfortunately, black flags, Christopher Cash and Austin Wheeler too fast entering pit road.
Wow, that's huge for Chris Cash, who would have come back out in a position where he could have pinned the leader.
6 laps to go. Fitting, Burns, Mills, Thomas, Chris Cash, Shane Trotter, Austin Wheeler, all on pit road. Unfortunately, Cash and Wheeler being held for speeding. Now the IWM guys coming down onto pit road for fuel. They lock it up. 19 cents, the 59 around.
Oh, that's tough.
No
for all that
caution.
strategy.
No caution. Still the 22 is Ty Bostic. He is making his way to his pit. Now he's going to unfortunately get out without a partner, unless that works out for the 48 or Cash. '19's taking tires. That's not good.
We saw the 40 XLI guys kind of wait back. They were more patient than some of the other groups. They were comfortable running, 13th to 15th, 11th to 14th, that stretch of the track. Now here they are. They've got themselves a Jordan Wenzel sandwich with Tony Japs mixed in there. It's the 41 of Jordan Booth, though, out now leading this field with Wenzel, Japs, Persini, and Walden teammates there, the two behind them. And then I believe that's Jeff Ramsdale in that Kroger Sprinkles Cake Pop car back there. I'm making me hungry for dessert here tonight. I don't know, Capri Sun. It looks sweet and dessert-like, but it's a good-looking machine.
There you go.
Wheeling.
Jacob and Joe Musso just coming out. They got their stop in. The question is, are the 40 XLI guys, Booth, Parasini, Walden, you got the iRFX, Jordan Wenzel, are they going to stop? Because Jeff Ramsdale and Jordan Wenzel, that's teams. So you've got a number of driving teams and drivers up front. Here comes Tony Japs. The 42 is on.
Locked up.
Yep.
Locked up coming down pit road.
He made it. He did not get caught. He somehow he was able to get it woed up enough. 3 laps to go.
That'll put the 41 of Jordan Booth in the lead with Wenzel, Pericini, and Walden. Walden is in that mix of playoff drivers, probably the one who needs the win most, but not exactly in a position to get that checkered right now. You see him poking his nose out a little bit, maybe seeing what he can do. It's his teammate in front of him, so
yeah, but the 81 is there. Jordan Wenzel absolutely wants this win.
Absolutely. He's not going to give it up.
Oh, well, driver's coming down pit road. That's Matt Pericini and Garrett Walden having to come in with 3 laps to go.
Walden looked like he had to woe it up quite a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Matt Pericini got a black flag. 24 is going to has got a black flag.
It's a dangerous game playing the pit road speed game here at Talladega. You come in with a full head of steam. It's hard to judge. I mean, people probably sitting there going, well, how hard is it to slow down? Really hard. And then the brakes lock up and the tires start sliding and you're in just along for the ride. So
I think Garrett Walden actually had to, he actually went off track. Let's take a quick peek.
That's not good.
Just watch this replay here. He's locking it up.
Okay, not too bad.
Not too bad.
Helping the ground crew cut the grass just a little bit there through the tribal, but I think he's going to be okay. It's going to hurt his playoff time or his pit road time just a scrooch, but not the end of the world. But it's going to be Jordan Booth and Jordan Wenzel.
Final lap. This is it. White flag is out. This race will finish under green flag conditions. Jordan Wenzel is really far back. Does he have it? Can he make it? I don't know. A 41, unless he runs out of gas, is going to be going to able to bring it home. Jordan Booth out in front, comes and makes a guest appearance here at Talladega. He won this race last season on his way to winning the championship. Now he's out front, able to save fuel. He pitted last on lap 60. He's going to do it in 34 laps. Everybody else pitted. He stayed out. Can he make it around without getting run over? And I think Jordan Wenzel, I think, is out of gas.
Yeah, it sounded like he had been sputtering just a little bit as he started to fade out of the picture there. And Jordan Booth is your winner here tonight. Fuel savings master coming in.
Oh my gosh!
For this one-off race. I mean, we got it all here tonight, Rick. That was a heck of a race.
Looks like Jordan Wenzel got a little bit of help there from about trying to see just who's behind him. That was the 48. The 48 of Austin Wheeler helps to get that 81 across the start-finish line for second.
I love it.
I love it. My guess is that 41 is not going to make it back. He's going to maybe need a little bit of help. He's got his teammate coming up behind him, so see how that goes. We shall have Jordan Booth, Jordan Wenzel, and Richard Mills in the booth for interviews. Let's go ahead and bring up our finishing order.
All right, like you said, Jordan Booth, your winner here tonight. Jordan Wenzel in second, Richard Mills in third. Scott Thomas rounds it out in fourth place for a fourth place position here tonight. Ron Fitting in fifth, Jacob Musal in sixth, Vince Burns in seventh, Tony Japs, Joe Musal, and Jeff Ramsdale round out the top 10.
All right, finishing in 11th, Garrett Walden. 12th is John Ledger. Ty Bostic in 13th. Matt Pericini in 14th. Tyra Lem in 15th. Shane Trotter in 16th. Chris Cash in 17th and 18th. Corey Ennis. Austin Wheeler finishes in 19th. John DeRugis in 20th. And Austin Walton in 21st. Wow. That is a heck of a finish here.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely one of these deals where it's a fuel savings race, but one that, you know, it's strategy wins the day. So good for these guys being able to make it work. As they're having fun with it though, Joe. The 28 of Joe Musau and the 41 of Jordan Booth.
A little bit of a kiss there at the end.
They had gotten into it a little earlier in the race, and you hear Jordan Booth over the radio say, "Yeah, you know, maybe I deserve that little
kiss on the back there for the photo. But everybody having a little bit of fun here tonight, and at this place, Talladega really is a good time.
All right, stay tuned. We should have driver interviews coming up momentarily. We're looking for Richard Mills, Jordan Wenzel, and Jordan Booth once they've finished their celebration. We'll look around, see if we can find Richard Mills here. There's Richard Mills. Let's see if we can bring him in the booth. All right, driver interviews underway here, and with that, we'll bring in our third place finisher, Richard Mills, in the 88 car, finishes in third here at Talladega. Richard, great finish. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
There we go. Congratulations on your finish there. Man, Talladega is always such a crapshoot, but hey, you wound up there at the right time, at the right place.
Yeah. Kind of stinks that these are coming down to fuel mileage like that, but I mean, I guess it makes it fun and interesting to watch. Got to work with my teammates there a lot, so they definitely helped keep me up there.
Well, definitely congratulations. Yeah, you were there. You had Ron up there as well. Ron Fitting, also part of Grease Monkey Motorsports. Just a great race tonight. Saw a lot of different lead changes.
Yeah. Definitely was fun. Riding around at 3/4 throttle most of it.
Well, that's the unfortunate part. But hey, we'll take it. Relatively few cautions tonight. But the season's winding down.
Yes, it is quickly.
Sure is. Well, congratulations on your finish tonight. Any shout outs tonight?
Just like I said, thanks for Ron for helping me out and pushing me and getting in front of me when needed, and the rest of the Grease Monkey guys that are watching that didn't make the race today.
All right. Well, there's your third place finisher tonight. Richard Mills in the 88 puts himself in third for tonight here at Talladega. With that, we've got the Jordan and Jordan show left. Let's go ahead and bring in Jordan Wenzel in, finishes in second tonight. Well, yeah, it turned out to be a fuel mileage race. Not always the most fun race, but congratulations, Jordan, on your finish. Got a little bit of help to get across that line at the end there, man. You were cutting it close for sure.
I ran out, I think, in turn 3, and I was clutching and trying to get it across, and then I was so locked in on just staying on the bottom of the track and not getting run over. I was just looking at the relative, trying to make sure that nobody caught me, and then Wheeler gave me a bit of a hand at the end of the race, and I'm just like, oh, this is perfect. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure, we weren't sure just exactly. In fact, our money was on that Booth was going to run out too, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, the way that the yellow flags and everything timed tonight, it unfortunately had everybody running on empty towards the end.
Yeah, even without the yellows falling where they did, it was going to be fuel save the entire time. I don't think that I was pushing the entire race, and it was just trying to save fuel the entire time because of just how much one less pit stop. I mean, I ran out in turn 3, and I still finished about 5 seconds ahead of Richard. So that just goes to show you how much not pitting saves you on track time.
Gotcha. Well, listen, congratulations anyways. I mean, it's not bad to take a second place finish when you're that, where you are in the points as we work our way towards Phoenix. Any shout outs tonight?
Well, definitely got to give a shout out again to Austin Wheeler for pushing me across the line and all the way back around to the start finish line for the photos. Then all the guys I race with, Booth is he's another, there's everybody else in the field, and then there's Jordan Booth, and he's just, the best at oval racing that we've got in here. And then also I got to shout out my friends here that are in the chat, Cameron, V, Jose, David, all my friends over there. They're just awesome to me. They try to keep me up, even though sometimes I feel down, especially after losing internet after a 20-second lead at Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. I know. Well, that's hard. Well, congratulations again, and we'll see you next week in Martinsville.
Alrighty, see you there.
All right. That's your second place finisher, Jordan Wenzel. But with that, the surprise guest tonight, Booth, enters the booth and gets the win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. That was not the plan going into tonight, but we'll take it.
Man, in fact, I was in the pre-race just talking about, Jordan Booth, won last year. He's off to college. We're not going to see it. And then I look in in my information, there you are.
Yeah,
Did you
on
get a
fall
pass?
break, so decided to. Yeah, on fall break, so decided I have nothing better to do on my Thursday night. I'll come race, and yeah, I guess I picked a good Thursday to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of guys who said, "Oh, great, Booth's here," and then some guys may have said, "Oh, crap, Booth's here." So.
Yeah, I don't think Joseph Musa is very happy with me right now, so he's probably one that said, "Oh, he's here, not great." So apologies to him. I'll get that out of the way early. Yeah, that was not my brightest moment.
We saw the
was
little love tap
Yeah,
at the start finish line there.
Yeah, I deserved that one.
Couldn't help but laugh from up here in the booth.
Yeah, it was one of those. It's like, yeah, all right. So, but yeah, all right, he can do that. Yeah.
A question though, you guys on that team 40XLI, was that a strategy all night? We were kind of keeping up with the three of you. Was there a conversation you guys had before the race about how you wanted to approach this? Because you guys ran up at the front like super dominantly toward the front half of this race, and you could see we could kind of put the pieces together of what you were trying to do. Can you walk us through maybe what some of that was like for you guys in the car?
Yeah, so we didn't really plan much of this before. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing. Stage 1 came, and it was going to be really close to make it. And our big thing was we didn't want to make the stage and then have to take the EOL after and pit after the stage is over. So we decided to just go hard, pit, come back out. Still got Garrett some good stage points there. And then we would have resumed the lead, and then we're looking at it and doing all the math and everything as far as fuel, what numbers we need to get to, and we're like, we do not want to be leading right now. So we came back, topped off, kind of rode around there, and then me and my ever great World of Wisdom decided to left hook the 28, and that put us in an even worse fuel situation. And then it was just kind of one of those riding around. Big shout out to Tony Japs. He worked with us all night as well, and he was doing a great job helping me fuel save. Unfortunately, both Garrett and Matt didn't quite have as great a help behind them as Tony was to me, and they couldn't make it. But yeah, it was just kind of one of those math to numbers, and just do what you had to do to make it.
Yeah, it was cool to see you guys work through that. And I mean, gave us a lot to talk about up here in the booth, and it really gives everybody a good idea of what it takes to get it done here at Talladega in these cars here on iRacing.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish we didn't have to race like that. I think most of everybody in the cars would say that was one of the more boring super speedway races they've ran. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a skill that you have to have at certain places, and unfortunately, we had to use it tonight. But thankfully, it worked out for at least myself.
Well, congratulations on the win. That means you've etched your name back-to-back wins here at Talladega in the fall race. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. This time, not quite the $500 richer I was last time, but nonetheless, we'll take the win.
There you go. All right. Any shout-outs tonight?
Yeah, I give one to my dad. He was watching earlier. Same with Nate. Big shout-out to my teammates all night, Matt, Garrett, and then Tony. He worked with us all night as well. They're huge helps all night. Hopefully Garrett's in a little bit better of a point situation going into Martinsville as he looks to get into the championship 4. Didn't quite have the finish he deserved, but nonetheless. You guys for broadcasting it. I give one to my spotter, Shane Wyatt. He was helping coach me through it, giving me lap updates there on that last run, let me know what I had to save and get done. So without him, I would have been a fish out of water for sure. And then Josh and Scott and everybody who runs the league for letting me come back and do it one more time.
There you go. All right, there's your winner tonight. Jordan Booth brings home the trophy here in the Yellawood 250 here at Talladega in the iNRS Racing Series. Jordan Wenzel comes in second, and Richard Mills, that's your podium there. We'll hope to see you next week on Thursday nights at Martinsville as we get the last race of the round of 8 in before we head to Phoenix for the championship. Sal, any thoughts as we wrap up tonight?
I mean, just really looking forward to a strong finish to this season. There's some great drivers, some great competitors in this field that are going to fight tooth and nail now to make it happen at Martinsville. So if you're just tuning into this series, this is playoff time. This is where it matters the most. And Martinsville is a dangerous place. Takes a special kind of driver with a special kind of skill set, and it'll be fun to see these guys get around there next week.
All right, so from Sal and myself, we'll thank you for tuning in, and we'll hope to see you next week on Thursday night here at Martinsville. We will be at Talladega on Wednesday in the Tech for Troops Cup Series. They are 1 week behind, and they're headed towards in their round of 8. So for Sal and myself, thanks for tuning in here to the IWM Broadcast Network, and have a great night. Good night, folks.